So, just with Liam Ryan, what's going through your mind in terms of whether you select him or not?
We won't select him, so he'll play another game of waffle. So we played him half back for a different feel. So this week, I think he's due for another 80 minutes, maybe a bit more this week. So no, he's not quite ready.
Does that mean Dom Shee perhaps?
Yeah, he's in the mix. Actually, haven't had match committee to finalise it, but he'll probably the sub, maybe plays, but we haven't confirmed that just yet.
Adam, what sort of a game are you expecting? Fremantle's games have been arm wrestles this season. Are you expecting that sort of a competition?
Yeah, well, I mean, their identity's there every week, so we're still working on ours. But it seems to be a real challenge to break through their defence. Their contest is their big strength. I'm sure you agree with that. And their stoppage work is pretty good as well. So, yeah, only a couple of goals off being undefeated, so we sort of know what kind of game we're going to get.
Are you confident you'll be able to challenge that with the cattle you've got in midfield particularly?
We'll give it a go, yeah. We had a good win on the weekend, but we've got a lot of work to do. So we're still working on a lot of areas of our game, and a few of the areas clicked on the weekend against the under-strength Tigers, so we're not delusional, but we're taking steps forward. So we'll get a pretty good audit this week.
Justin Darcy. Sean Darcy.
Is that the question?
Yeah, does he play?
Yeah, he'll play. Yeah. So he got through training well last night. He was really close last week and erred on the side of caution. So yeah, he's got another week of work under his belt, and yeah, he's ready to go.
Have you worked out how you juggle your rucks? Does he lead the ruck and does Luke become a forward ruck all of a sudden again?
Oh, it'll be some of that. Probably try and mix it up a little bit more than maybe we have in the past while Sean finds his form and fitness. So yeah, like I've said many a time, it'll evolve. But at this stage, yeah, they'll mix it up in the ruck. Sean will spend a little bit of time forward, but not a heap of time. And he's coming off a pretty limited prep if you look at his summer. So it'll take a little bit of time for him to get back to the amount of ruck work he was playing last year. But we'll look to evolve it, but he'll play mainly ruck.
Michael Frederick?
No, he's not going to make it this week. Yeah, we're hopeful, obviously. But when he first did that hammy, it looked like it was going to be a serious one and got a good scan result, which got our hopes up. It was only going to be 1 week, but it's just a little bit short. And given he's had a couple of different soft tissue injuries this year, it's opted on the side of giving him an extra week.
So are you able to share who comes in for Switkowski then if he's not?
No. They haven't done their match committee yet.
Adam, does it to restructure a bit of the Freo? So what does that mean to your structure in effect?
No, not really for us. Yeah. So probably got a profile of our team. They've got some experienced players and some real young players. But the next crop coming through probably aren't quite ready. So that's why we've been playing Liam down back a little bit in case we need to use him down back for whatever reason. So no, it doesn't change what we do.
Do you need more experience? Are you toying with Andrew Gaff?
Yeah, he's been in tremendous frame of mind, I suppose. So his leadership that he's bringing, and a guy who's very proud about his personal performance. Been dealing with a lot in terms of criticism, which is probably a bit unjustified. So really proud how he's gone about it from a leadership point of view. He's played some good footy and he's available when needed. So probably more opportunity than forcing his way back in just yet. But the balance for us, I've been saying for a while, but either really old or really young. So just trying to get that growth in the kids and getting our leaders to play well as well at the same time.
Do you need another tool though? Do you think against these guys if they're bringing in?
Probably, but we don't have one. So Jamison's going to be out for a little bit. He was filling in a new role, which we really liked. He's sort of developing quite well, but he's got a bit of tendinopathy, I think it is, and he's going to be out for a while. So Harry Edwards comes back to our waffle this week after suspension, so he might be an option down the track. But at the moment, we don't really have many options.
Where would you be at with Heath Chapman, Justin?
He's getting close. We've opted to play him in the waffle this week as well. He's been on limited minutes, so this week will be his first opportunity to play a full game, and we all know his history. And the recurrence he's had with those hammies. So, opted on the side of caution with him. So he wasn't available for selection this week.
Can we ask who's in the chop up then? Who might be a possibility?
Yeah, you can. You got some names. Yeah, well, we've actually got a lot of guys that are on the way back from injury, and they're on limited minutes or have just played the one waffle game. So it's a crucial match at Peel this week to see if we can get some more availability and create a little bit more discussion at selection. But Cooper Simpson's been in pretty good form. Missed last week with COVID. Sam Sturt came back last week and played with great intensity in the forward line. And then there's the options of playing the mids through the forward line a little bit more and seeing if we can mix it up that way.
Adam, two midfields in pretty good form. How do you see that panning out, and how do you rate Freo's midfield?
Up with the best. Yeah, trying to get some evidence about where we're going is interesting, because I think our improvement this year has probably been around the midfield and clearances and some centre bounce wins we've had, and our contest got a little bit better and our method around all that, largely driven by Yo and Kelly, and of course Reed's getting better every week. So we played a under-strength Tigers last week, so we're not delusional about last week's result, but we got it done. So yeah, we need a bit more work to give ourselves some real evidence that we're top tier midfield, but we're taking the right steps, aren't we? So the balance between the youth and experience is pretty good. We don't get Flynn back for a few weeks, so I think Bailey's getting better every week, but he's carrying the load again. So it'll be a very important battle. The midfield battle's huge.
Send anyone to select?
Well, yeah, we might. Yeah, I mean, we've given some little roles to Ruben over the journey, as we've seen. The problem with that is then Brayshaw pops up, or Young pops up. So, yeah, definitely part of our conversation.
Justin, is Jack Deline in the mix?
No, not yet. No. Well, he's in his first year of footy. I think some of his offensive creativity in the forward line is really shining out. He's got some areas of his game to become a more consistent forward and put his hand up for selection. Well, we're really pleased with the way he's gone. But yeah, there's some things in his game that he's really clear on that he needs to work on, and I think pretty normal things for young players, and in particular young forwards.
Justin, do you back your midfield head to head, or do you look at Elliot Yeo or even Harley Reid?
I'll definitely back our midfield. It seems like every week you're coming up against a midfielder who's really in really good form, and I think that's the same this week. Clearly, Simo mentioned what West Coast were able to do last week, but I think that's been there for a little bit longer than 1 week. They've been in really good form through the middle of the ground. Their stoppage work has been really consistent across the year. Yeah, and we need to put some plans in place for Yo with his dominance last week. But then, same as what Simo said about our midfield, young fella gets off the lead if you do that, or Kelly gets off the leash if you do that. So, we need to make sure we get our structures right holistically in the midfield.
Justin, what is it that's impressed you about Cooper Simpson?
Well, there's a lot of things. You guys see the stuff on the field. I've been more impressed with his attitude off the field and his approach and the purpose he brings to everything he's trying to work on and everything he does around the football club. And for a young player to come in and be so mature in those aspects of the game, and it reminds me of some of our younger players in Sarong when he first got to the club. He's got that type of attitude, and Brayshaw. And then on the field, I think he adds a bit of class to our front half in particular. He's could go left or right, and he's got the ability to drive and open the game up. So there's a bit to work with there.
Adam, is the biggest challenge, or one of the, is to score enough to win?
That's a big challenge.
And you can't really make any radical moves, can you? Because the governing brass, you're going to need them. So there's no.
No, we scored well on the weekend, but I think the week before a couple of weeks ago, we kicked 3 goals. So the ball movement piece and scoring piece is probably the last piece of the puzzle for us, and we've got a long way to go with the little things we're working on now. So we've seen some signs, some good signs, but we're not going to deviate. Like, it wasn't too long ago we lost by 100 points to Fremantle. So it's, we've got a lot of work to do. But it starts with the basics, and that's all we're working on at the moment. And until we get those in the right space, we can't really take the next step. So that won't change.
How big a challenge do your ruckman face on Saturday night?
Our ruckman? Pretty big, yeah, and that's always been the case against Fremantle when the two of them play. That's what we got Flinny over, but unfortunately he's unavailable. So Bailey's been pretty good. The hit-outs have been an issue, but he's sort of got a lot better at competing around the stoppage, nullifying hit-outs to advantage. But this is another step up. So he's slowly built, I reckon, since I think we played Fremantle in the practice match, and it was his first game. Been training as a forward, and we lost Flynn the day before, and he was pretty rusty then. And just every week he's got a little bit better with his craft, but essentially one day we'd like to see him forward.
Jack Williams, is he likely to be the support?
Yeah, we won't change too much. Yeah, we're not in a position to start throwing things around. And I said the word synergy a fair bit, but the longer we can play in similar positions and grow together, the more connection we'll get on field. So we're a pretty open book this week.
With Luke Jackson forward, does that send like a Tom Barras for him? And what does that add to Fremantle's forward line, you said?
Yeah, it's a strength. It's a strength anyway. So, I wouldn't be lying saying Frederick's not playing. It's not the worst thing in the world for us. So, some of their smalls have been really dangerous, won't be there, but collectively they're pretty strong. So, minimising entries is the first priority, and then trying to get a back six to keep work together like they have been, albeit, we've been scored against a fair bit as well. So, it's going to be a big challenge.
Tom Barras looked a bit sore. Did you have to manage him at some stage, do you think? Back?
Yeah, I don't know the difference between bit sore and not playing well sometimes is. So, no, he's been really good for us from a leadership point of view, and he's definitely held up his end with his defence. No, he's not sore. He's not sore. A few people said that, so he might just look a bit sore. He's not.
And so going in, going in, J-Lo, they're going to be heavy favourites now. What's that like? Is that a different way to do it, or is it just?
You okay with that?
You don't really look at the odds. It's the same process. You look at the opposition strengths. You look at opportunities where you can get them. Our players, so really clear on that. Then we've got to try and bring the right mindset, then execute our footy. And really, what the scoreboard says at the end of the day is byproduct of what you do with your process. So nothing changes. We don't take the foot off the pedal here, and we're whatever favourites we are. And I think that would be a sign of the maturity of our group, because I think last year a few times when we came off good wins or good performances, or we're either flat the week after or vice versa, and we were an inconsistent team. So we've done a lot of work on trying to put a really consistent product out in the field each week.
Did you see a difference between the mindset of the two close losses? Like, just this week, have you been pleased with how they've come back from that one?
Yeah, I have. We gave our players a little bit of time off early in the week because we're away for 10 or 11 days, so good opportunity for them to get home and get settled. And but I think been really impressed with the way the players have owned our part in those two losses. We need to learn from them and get better from them, because if we're in that position later in the year or down the track in big games, we want to be able to execute better than what we did, clearly. So, it's tough, but they're great learning opportunities if you handle them the right way, and feel like our players have.
And Jordan
Clark, but very secure in his signature. That must be a nice boost.
Yeah, it is. He's a quality player, and I think thing that probably got lost in the Carlton game was the fact that he played really well, and he's been in really good form this year. So it's good to be able to reward that, and to have someone who's so invested in the club and wanting to sign out long term. It's a no-brainer for him, but it was a no-brainer for us as well.
It's like the 14th extension too, so it's a big vote of confidence, but also good to set up the club with 14 blokes.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully speaks to what we're trying to build. Players are invested. We've invested in players, and it takes a few contract headaches out when you got guys that are extended for a long period of time. It gives the club security and those players security as well.
You talked about not being able to get bang for your buck last week. What have you done to address that this week?
Well, there's a number of different things, and really when you talk about bang for buck over the last couple of weeks, is probably making more of the opportunities we're actually creating for ourselves. Whether that's in the contest in our front half with one-on-ones, or just finishing off our work a little bit better in front of goals. So To go out there against Port at home and think you're going to kick 120 points is a bit unrealistic. But we needed to get to 70 or 80, and that's what you need to get to against good teams away from home at times. And I felt like we created enough opportunities to be able to do that. And we just didn't capitalise on some of those opportunities. Kick points when we should have kicked goals and had a chance to get the margin out to over 2 goals or 3 goals, or not even scoring at all. So feel like we're doing a lot right. We just need to show a bit more composure to be able to finish our work off.
Last week, Ken called Alex Gibbs the best key back in the game so far this season. Do you concur? And how pleased have you been with his month?
Don't sit there and really rate players against other players. I know he's doing a great job. Rarely been beaten this year, and he's leading by example in all areas that we want him to.
Can you tell us who he's going to? Mortimer, Darling?
Oh, we tend to mix it up and try and give him, and we don't really try and give matchups. I mean, last week was a pretty obvious one because they go to Dixon a lot and they kick it pretty aggressively to Dixon, and he's probably a bit too big for our other boys. So we try and play areas on the ground more than direct matchups.
You've both been in the chair for a few derbies. Is there any extra edge to a derby now, or is it just business as usual for both of you?
I suppose in my time, there's been different phases both clubs have been in. So the closest time when it was neck and neck was around 15? Yeah. Whereas I think we won 10 in a row and then they've won 5 in a row. So it's sort of been a bit lopsided the last 15 times we've played. So, I'm not sure what this week's going to give us, but we're definitely excited about it. And a home crowd, and we had 47,000 there on the weekend, and just winning's good. And having the 87 boys here as well, just was a really good environment to be in. So win, lose or draw, it's a good week for the state. We get the home game this week, so hopefully we get 50 plus, and it's going to be a nice day.
Justin?
You don't tend to look back too much at like the records or winning streaks or anything like that. It's you really focus on now. But the extra media, the extra hype around the derby, and there's a bit of competitiveness, I suppose, with the two teams, especially amongst the fans. So it brings a bit more bubble to the game. But I don't think internally you drum them up anymore, or you stick to a process, and hopefully the players prepare well and execute well, just like you do every other week.
Do you remember what it was like as a player?
Yeah, well, there is a bit of more buzz. You go to a coffee shop and, whether it's West Coast or Freo supporter, they're likely to say something. So you get a bit more of that external buzz. Internally, you try and keep it pretty similar.
Okay, so I'll ask the Harley question. Because he's got to be
10
one,
minutes.
doesn't
Yep.
Do you actually talk to him about the derby, or from what I've seen of him, you don't need to explain what a derby's about and what it's going to be like?
As long as we just keep remembering he's 19 now, had his birthday yesterday. So it's been great to see what he can do for the team and the club, and the attention's the attention. We can't control it, and he seems to back it up. But he's going to have down weeks as well. So as long as we're patient with his future, we hope he's with us for a long period of time. We're really pleased what he's brought, even before the weekend. And he's got confidence, which we all love. So there's no scarring with Harley in terms of the past. He just wants to play footy to win, and wants to play with his mates, and it's a great attitude.
He loves that word swagger. Do you like that word
Swagger? If you can back it up, there's nothing wrong with it. Look, I don't think he thinks about that too much. It's just the way he is. And, when guys can back it up, it probably takes you to another level, doesn't it? So when you're willing to put yourself out there. But I don't see him as an extrovert. He just plays footy in the right way.